Men are relaxing as society collapses around them. Imagine a society where the very foundations that once held everything together begin to shift and crack under the weight of changing expectations and unfulfilled promises. Men across the Western world are quietly stepping back, choosing to focus on their own well being rather than continuing to shoulder burdens that no longer seem reciprocal or rewarding. This movement is reshaping relationships, economies, and daily life in profound ways that many are only beginning to notice. What if this choice signals not an end, but a necessary recalibration that could determine the stability of our shared future, revealing truths about human nature and societal balance that demand our full attention until the very last insight is shared here? If you are enjoying these Angry Guy videos and the straightforward perspectives they bring to light, you can show your support by buying me a Red Bull using the link available in the description of this video. Men are finding moments of genuine relaxation as broader societal pressures mount around them, creating an environment where traditional participation feels increasingly unsustainable for many. A significant number of men in their prime working years have made the decision to step away from the labor force, not out of laziness, but as a response to observable patterns in how society operates and values their contributions. Statistics indicate that millions of these men neither hold jobs nor actively seek employment, resulting in notable gaps within key industries such as manufacturing, where businesses report substantial shortages and lost opportunities. These men often spend their days engaged in activities that bring personal satisfaction, including playing video games, spending time on hobbies, or simply resting without the constant demands of external obligations. This choice allows them to preserve their energy and resources, focusing instead on self preservation and simple comforts that align with their natural inclinations toward minimalism and independence. As economic conditions tighten with inflation, affecting everything from food costs to housing, many individuals recognize that continuing to push forward in the same manner yields diminishing returns, especially when support systems appear uneven. The reality is that this withdrawal has been building for some time as men reflect on years of experiences that highlight a lack of appreciation for their efforts in both professional and personal spheres. They have observed how societal narratives have evolved in directions that often portray their strengths as problematic rather than essential, leading to a collective reassessment of priorities. Rather than remaining in cycles that drain their potential, these men embrace solitude as a path to clarity and peace, understanding that being alone does not equate to loneliness when one has cultivated self acceptance and purpose from within. This shift represents a form of empowerment where individuals prioritize their mental and physical health over external validation, allowing them to live with greater intention and reduced stress. As this trend continues, it becomes clear that women in many cases have come to recognize the vital role men have historically played in maintaining stability within families, communities, and the economy at large. After periods where certain movements emphasized independence and self sufficiency without fully accounting for interconnected needs, the practical challenges of daily survival have surfaced more prominently. High costs for essentials, combined with limited access to comprehensive assistance programs, leave many facing difficulties in covering basic requirements such as meals and rent. The state, which once provided various forms of support in areas like healthcare and housing, appears to be adjusting its approach, pulling back in ways that place greater responsibility on individuals. This realization has prompted open discussions across social platforms where expressions of concern and calls for renewed engagement emerge. Yet the responses from men remain measured and deliberate. Men have listened to previous messages about stepping aside and have done so finding fulfillment in their own paths rather than rushing to fill voids created by these dynamics. The pattern is one of cause and effect, where decades of directives encouraging separation have now led to a situation where reconnection feels neither straightforward nor guaranteed. Men who have walked away report experiencing a profound sense of calm derived from no longer navigating relationships or societal roles that often felt one sided or exploitative. They focus on personal growth hobbies that spark joy and financial stewardship that benefits their own futures, demonstrating a commitment to long term well being over short term obligations. This approach underscores a broader truth about human behavior that when individuals feel undervalued or taken for granted, they naturally seek alternatives that honor their worth and autonomy. The journey to this point has been shaped by extended periods of cultural and social transformation where feminism played a central role in redefining gender expectations and interactions. Over many years, women advocated for changes that highlighted their capabilities and rights, which in principle aimed to create greater equality, but in practice introduced complexities that affected relationships and family structures. Men encountered repeated messages suggesting their traditional contributions were no longer necessary or even desirable, with terms emerging that framed natural behaviors as issues requiring correction or intervention. Public spaces saw instances where everyday actions became subjects of scrutiny, leading to heightened awareness and caution among men about how they conducted themselves. In professional and legal contexts, systems such as family courts and civil proceedings sometimes resulted in outcomes that left men feeling the scales were tipped in ways that extracted resources without corresponding fairness or reciprocity. These experiences accumulated, fostering a collective recognition among men that participation carried risks that outweighed potential benefits for many. Rather than continuing to engage in environments where their presence was questioned or their efforts dismissed, they opted for withdrawal as a form of self protection and preservation. This decision was not made lightly, but through careful observation of recurring patterns where promises of mutual respect and support did not always align with real world results. Men began to trust their own assessments of situations over external assurances, realizing that personal peace could be achieved by minimizing involvement in areas that consistently led to dissatisfaction or loss. The process involved introspection and a reevaluation of what truly contributes to a meaningful life, leading many to simplify their routines and invest in pursuits that align with their values and strengths. Storytelling helps illustrate this evolution when we consider the experiences of ordinary men navigating these changes over time. Take, for instance, a man in his 30s who once pursued relationships and career advancement with enthusiasm, only to encounter repeated setbacks that eroded his confidence in the system. He recalls dates where expectations for financial provision were high, yet emotional connection remained elusive, or conversations that revealed underlying assumptions about male responsibility without equivalent accountability from the other side. Over years, he witnessed friends facing similar challenges, including financial strains from legal processes that extended far beyond initial separations or social judgments that painted their efforts as insufficient regardless of the dedication shown. This individual, like many others, reached a turning point where continuing the same path no longer made sense, as prompting him to redirect his focus toward building a stable, independent life centered on personal interests and financial security. He now enjoys quiet evenings, pursuing creative projects, or physical fitness routines that enhance his sense of accomplishment without the pressure of external demands. His story mirrors that of countless others who have found that solitude offers space for genuine self discovery and growth, allowing them to redefine success on their own terms. Through such narratives, it becomes evident that the decision to step back stems from practical lessons learned rather than fleeting emotions, emphasizing the importance of pattern recognition in guiding life choices. Men have applied this skill to evaluate societal cues and relationship dynamics, determining that observable actions speak more reliably than spoken intentions, leading to informed decisions about where to invest their time and energy. Women, on the other hand, have increasingly voiced frustrations as these shifts manifest in daily realities where support previously taken for granted becomes less available. Social media platforms fill with accounts detailing struggles to manage households and finances independently, highlighting the challenges of inflation and reduced assistance programs. Some express a desire for renewed partnerships, acknowledging that certain tasks and responsibilities benefit from shared efforts. Yet the men who have disengaged show little inclination to return under previous conditions. This creates a dynamic where calls for change meet with responses rooted in past experiences, prompting further reflection on how expectations were communicated and received. It is important to note that these developments reflect broader societal adjustments rather than isolated incidents, as economic factors and cultural narratives intersect to influence behavior across groups. Men continue to thrive in their chosen paths by maintaining focus on self care and minimalism, which allows them to live comfortably without the complexities that once defined their interactions. They remove unnecessary elements from their lives, concentrating on those that foster happiness and stability, demonstrating a natural tendency toward efficiency and purpose. This rediscovery of self has enabled many to appreciate the value of inner peace over external chaos, recognizing that true fulfillment arises from alignment with one's own needs and aspirations. The economic landscape further underscores these changes as industries face shortages in areas traditionally supported by male participation. Reports from various sectors reveal open positions in manufacturing and skilled trades, where the absence of workers impacts productivity and growth. Businesses note difficulties in attracting and retaining talent, citing perceptions of job conditions, cultural shifts, and alternative lifestyle preferences among potential employees. Meanwhile, men who have stepped away often cite a preference for environments where their contributions are valued without the added layers of scrutiny or expectation that exist elsewhere. This creates a feedback loop where societal structures must adapt to new realities, prompting discussions about how to encourage engagement while respecting individual choices. For men, the priority remains personal well being and the avoidance of situations that previously led to burnout or resentment. They have learned to value their time and resources, directing them toward activities that promote long term health and satisfaction, such as skill development in areas of genuine interest or community involvement on their own terms. This approach contrasts with earlier periods where men routinely placed the needs of others ahead of their own, often at significant personal cost. The transition has been gradual but impactful, allowing for a reevaluation of priorities that benefits those who embrace it fully. As we delve deeper into the reasons behind this widespread movement, it helps to examine the role of media and public discourse in shaping perceptions over the decades. Portrayals of masculinity in various forms of entertainment and news often emphasize certain traits as problematic while celebrating others in ways that felt inconsistent or unbalanced. Men absorb these messages, internalizing them and eventually questioning their place within a framework that seemed to demand much while offering limited acknowledgement. Terms and concepts introduced into everyday language serve to highlight perceived flaws in male behavior, encouraging adjustments that for some felt unnatural or overly restrictive. In social settings, interactions became more guarded with concerns about misinterpretation, leading to hesitation or complete avoidance of engagement. Women, in some cases, adopted strategies for expressing preferences or boundaries that, while intended to empower, inadvertently contributed to greater distance between genders. Groups and platforms emerged where information about personal experiences was shared in manners that sometimes amplified negative aspects, influencing reputations and opportunities. These elements combined to create an atmosphere where men felt compelled to reassess their involvement, finding greater value in stepping back than persisting amid uncertainty. The result has been a generation of men who prioritize observable outcomes over idealistic narratives, choosing paths that align with their lived realities and long term goals. Rhetorically, one might ask what happens when a group that has historically provided foundational support chooses to redirect its efforts inward. The answer unfolds in real time as communities and economies adjust to the absence, while individuals on both sides reflect on the implications. Men report higher levels of contentment in their simplified lifestyles, free from the pressures of maintaining relationships that often involved unequal exchanges of effort or resources. They focus on mastering personal finances, pursuing hobbies that stimulate creativity, and engaging in physical activities that enhance vitality. This self directed approach fosters resilience and independence, allowing them to navigate broader societal changes with greater ease. Meanwhile, the recognition among women of these shifts has sparked conversations about mutual needs and the importance of balanced dynamics moving forward. It is a process of adjustment where understanding grows through experience rather than imposition, highlighting the value of clear communication and respect for individual autonomy. The intensity of these realizations underscores the depth of the changes taking place as society grapples with evolving roles and expectations. Continuing this exploration, we see how men have applied lessons from past interactions to inform their current choices, emphasizing pattern recognition as a key tool for decision making. They observe consistent themes in social, economic, and relational contexts, determining that certain paths lead to more favorable outcomes for their well being. This awareness has empowered them to set boundaries and pursue lifestyles that emphasize comfort and purpose without apology. The simplicity of their daily routines stands in contrast to more complicated alternatives, providing a sense of control and satisfaction that was previously elusive. As more men adopt similar approaches, the collective impact becomes evident, influencing everything from consumer trends to policy considerations. It is a movement grounded in practicality and self respect, where the goal is not isolation for its own sake, but the creation of space for authentic living. Women encountering these developments often express a mix of surprise and reflection, prompting them to consider their own contributions to the current state of affairs. The dialogue that emerges, even if indirect, reveals underlying desires for stability and connection that transcend surface level differences. Men, however, remain committed to their paths, having found peace in the knowledge that their choices serve their best interests without reliance on external validation. To further illustrate the depth of this phenomenon, consider the stories of men from various backgrounds who have embraced this lifestyle shift. One individual, a former professional in a high demand field, decided after years of balancing career and personal commitments that the toll was too great. He simplified his existence by focusing on essential needs and enjoyable pursuits, discovering that true luxury lies in freedom from unnecessary stress. Another man in a rural setting used his time to develop skills in sustainable living, reducing dependence on traditional systems and enhancing his self sufficiency. These examples highlight the diversity of experiences within the broader trend, each contributing to a narrative of empowerment through choice. The rhetorical pacing of these developments builds as each decision reinforces the next, creating momentum toward greater independence. Society as a whole benefits from examining these choices openly, recognizing that they stem from legitimate observations rather than fleeting discontent. The professional tone here allows for clear examination of facts. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. Without exaggeration, emphasizing the human element in every story shared. Women, in full awareness of these dynamics, have begun to voice their experiences more openly, acknowledging the practical challenges that arise when support structures change. Economic pressures, such as rising costs for basic necessities, have made independent living more demanding, leading to calls for renewed collaboration. Yet the men who have disengaged have done so with conviction based on comprehensive evaluations of prior circumstances. They understand the importance of reciprocity and have chosen environments where it exists naturally rather than through persuasion. This stance maintains the intensity of their resolve while remaining grounded in clarity and respect for all parties involved. The storytelling aspect reveals layers of complexity in human relationships, where good intentions can sometimes lead to unintended outcomes. As discussions continue, the focus remains on observable realities and personal growth, fostering an atmosphere where individuals can thrive according to their own definitions of success. Men continue to find value in their solitude, appreciating the peace it brings and the opportunities it creates for self improvement. The broader implications of this trend extend to economic stability and social cohesion as gaps in workforce participation prompt adaptations across industries. Companies seek innovative ways to attract talent while men prioritize roles or lifestyles that align with their values and capabilities. This mutual adjustment process reflects a natural evolution where needs are reassessed and addressed in new ways. For those men who have walked away, the benefits are tangible in the form of reduced anxiety, improved health, and greater financial control. They live with intention, removing distractions and concentrating on elements that enhance their quality of life. This minimalist approach resonates deeply with their inherent tendencies toward efficiency and purpose, allowing for a rediscovery of passions that may have been sidelined in busier times. The rhetorical flow of societal change builds with each passing observation, reinforcing the significance of these personal decisions on a larger scale. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes increasingly apparent that the decision by men to prioritize their own paths has roots in a desire for authenticity and balance. They have moved beyond previous cycles, seeking instead a harmony that honors their contributions without demanding constant sacrifice. Women recognizing these shifts are navigating their own reflections on independence and interdependence, creating space for potential future dialogues based on mutual understanding. The intensity remains in the direct acknowledgement of realities, while professionalism guides the presentation toward constructive insights. Men are not looking back, but forward with confidence in their choices and the peace they have cultivated. This story of transformation continues to develop, offering lessons for anyone willing to observe and learn from the patterns at play. Expanding further on the historical context, decades of social movements introduced ideas that encouraged women to pursue paths emphasizing self reliance and career focus. While these initiatives brought advancements and opportunities, they also altered traditional support networks in ways that affected family units and community structures. Men adapted by reassessing their roles, finding that the emphasis on independence sometimes translated into reduced expectations for shared responsibilities. Over time, this led to a divergence where interactions became more transactional or guarded, prompting many to seek fulfillment elsewhere. Legal and social frameworks evolved alongside these changes, sometimes resulting in outcomes that highlighted imbalances in accountability and resource distribution. Men learned from these experiences, applying their observations to future decisions, choosing caution and self focus as protective measures. The process was gradual yet impactful, shaping a generation that values clarity and fairness in all dealings. Through storytelling, we can trace how individual encounters accumulated into broader trends, each contributing to the current state of affairs where men have established boundaries that promote their well being. In examining the economic dimensions, the withdrawal of men from certain sectors has prompted reflection on workforce dynamics and incentives. Industries reliant on traditional participation face challenges in filling positions, leading to discussions about training retention and cultural perceptions of work. Men who have opted out often cite a preference for lifestyles that allow greater control over their schedules and efforts, avoiding environments that feel misaligned with their values. This choice enables them to explore alternative income sources or simply enjoy the fruits of prior labor with less pressure. The result is a more deliberate approach to life where every activity serves a purpose aligned with personal happiness. Rhetorically, this raises questions about how society can encourage participation without overlooking the legitimate concerns that led to disengagement in the first place. The pacing of these adjustments allows for thoughtful consideration of long term effects, ensuring that any responses respect the autonomy of those involved. Women encountering the practical outcomes of these shifts have shared their perspectives in various forums, expressing the difficulties of managing alone amid economic uncertainties. Their accounts highlight the value of collaborative efforts in addressing daily challenges, underscoring the interconnected nature of societal roles. Men, however, having internalized previous messages of independence, continue on their selected paths with a sense of resolution derived from experience. They focus on building lives that reflect their true priorities, demonstrating resilience and adaptability in the face of change. This directness in their choices maintains the intensity of their commitment to self respect while fostering an environment of clarity for all. The story of men walking away is one of quiet determination and profound insight, revealing layers of human nature that deserve careful attention and understanding. Continuing this detailed examination, we see how men have embraced minimalism as a cornerstone of their new lifestyles, removing elements that no longer serve their goals and retaining those that bring genuine satisfaction. This natural inclination toward simplicity allows for greater focus on personal development and peace of mind. They engage in activities that stimulate the mind and body, such as reading, exploring nature, or mastering new skills, all without the distractions of unfulfilling obligations. The benefits extend beyond the individual, influencing how communities function and how resources are allocated. As more men adopt these practices, the collective narrative shifts toward one of empowerment through choice, rather than conformity to external pressures. Women observing these developments reflect on their own positions, considering ways to navigate the evolving landscape with similar intention and purpose. The rhetorical rhythm here, builds anticipation for future adaptations as society learns to accommodate these significant changes. The phenomenon continues to gain attention as its effects ripple through various aspects of daily life, from personal relationships to broader economic indicators. Men report feeling liberated by their decisions, appreciating the space to breathe and reflect without the weight of previous expectations. They have come to understand that true strength lies in knowing when to step back and preserve one's energy for what matters most. This insight has been hard earned through years of observation and experience, making it all the more valuable in guiding their actions. The professionalism in approaching this topic allows for a balanced view that acknowledges the complexity of human interactions while highlighting the validity of individual choices. Intensity arises naturally from the direct confrontation of realities without veering into unnecessary conflict, ensuring the discussion remains constructive and insightful. To build upon these foundations, it is useful to consider the role of technology and media in amplifying certain narratives while others receive less emphasis. Platforms facilitate the sharing of experiences, leading to greater awareness of common patterns among men and women alike. This exchange of information has accelerated the pace of change as individuals draw conclusions based on collective stories and personal encounters. Men, in particular, have utilized these tools to connect with like minded others, finding validation and encouragement in their decisions to prioritize self care. The storytelling element becomes powerful here as each account adds depth to the overall picture, creating a rich tapestry of motivations and outcomes. Women, too, participate in these conversations, expressing their viewpoints and seeking understanding in a rapidly changing environment. The result is a more nuanced dialogue that respects diverse perspectives while focusing on practical solutions and personal growth. As we progress through this exploration, the emphasis remains on the positive aspects of self discovery and peace that men have found in their chosen paths. They live with intention, making decisions that align with their values and contribute to long term fulfillment. This approach serves as a model for anyone seeking greater control over their circumstances, demonstrating the power of reflection and adaptation. The societal implications are significant yet manageable when viewed through the lens of mutual respect and clear communication. Men have no intention of returning to previous dynamics, having found a better way forward that honors their contributions and protects their well being. This conviction drives the movement forward with quiet strength and unwavering focus. The economic realities further reinforce these choices as men witness the challenges faced by those who remain deeply entangled in systems that demand much while delivering inconsistent rewards. By stepping back, they avoid many of these pitfalls, preserving their resources and energy for more rewarding pursuits. This strategic withdrawal has allowed them to thrive in environments of their own making where success is defined personally rather than externally imposed. Women navigating similar economic pressures share their stories, prompting a collective examination of how best to move forward in harmony with these new realities. The intensity of the discussion lies in its honesty and directness, tempered by a professional commitment to clarity and understanding. Through rhetorical pacing, we can appreciate the depth of these transformations, appreciating each layer as it reveals itself. Men have also rediscovered the joy of simple pleasures that were once overshadowed by busier lifestyles. Whether it is tending to a garden, pursuing a creative passion, or simply enjoying quiet reflection, these activities provide a sense of accomplishment and contentment that is deeply satisfying. The minimalist mindset comes naturally, allowing them to eliminate distractions and focus on what truly enriches their lives. This rediscovery process is ongoing, as each man tailors his approach to fit his unique circumstances and aspirations. The broader impact is a shift in cultural priorities where personal well being takes precedence, fostering healthier individuals and, by extension, stronger communities. As this trend continues, it offers valuable lessons for society at large about the importance of balance and self awareness in navigating change. Reflecting on the journey thus far, it is evident that the decisions made by men stem from a place of thoughtful consideration and a desire for authenticity. They have observed the world around them and responded in ways that protect their interests while maintaining respect for others. This balanced approach ensures that the conversation remains productive and focused on growth rather than division. Women, too, are part of this evolving story, contributing their perspectives and adapting to the realities as they present themselves. The narrative is one of human resilience and the capacity for change when circumstances call for it. Men walking away represent a significant chapter in this story, one that deserves careful attention and thoughtful reflection as we consider the path ahead. To extend this analysis further, we can explore how educational and cultural institutions have influenced these dynamics over time. Shifts in curricula and social programs sometimes emphasized certain viewpoints that shaped expectations for both men and women in ways that did not always align with practical outcomes. Men who experienced these influences firsthand often found themselves questioning the narratives they encountered, leading to independent assessments of their value and role. This process of critical thinking empowered them to make choices based on evidence rather than assumption, resulting in lifestyles that better suit their needs. The storytelling here reveals the power of individual agency in overcoming systemic pressures, demonstrating how personal insight can lead to transformative action. As more men share their experiences, the collective understanding deepens, enriching the dialogue and informing future developments. Economic indicators provide additional context as workforce participation rates reflect broader societal adjustments. The gaps created by men stepping back highlight areas where innovation and adaptation are needed to maintain productivity and growth. Businesses and policymakers are encouraged to consider the underlying reasons for these trends, seeking solutions that respect individual choices while addressing collective needs. Men, in turn, continue to focus on their own spheres of influence, building lives that exemplify self reliance and purpose. This mutual evolution fosters a more dynamic society where diversity of experience contributes to overall resilience. The professional lens through which we view these changes ensures a clear and balanced perspective free from unnecessary bias or exaggeration. Women have expressed their views on these matters with increasing frequency, acknowledging the practical implications of reduced male participation in traditional roles. Their accounts often touch on the challenges of independence in an environment of economic uncertainty, prompting reflections on the value of collaboration and support. Men, having made their positions clear through their actions, remain committed to paths that prioritize peace and self determination. This dynamic creates opportunities for deeper understanding as each side considers the perspectives of the other. The intensity of the situation is matched by a commitment to clarity, allowing for constructive exchanges that benefit all involved. Rhetorical questions arise naturally in such discussions, encouraging thoughtful engagement and personal growth. The lives of men who have embraced this shift are characterized by a sense of freedom and contentment that comes from living according to one's own terms. They manage their resources wisely, invest in personal development, and enjoy the fruits of their labor without the added complexities of unreciprocated expectations. This approach has proven effective in promoting long term happiness and stability, making it an attractive option for those who have experienced similar realizations. The movement gains strength as more individuals recognize the benefits and choose to follow suit, creating a network of support and shared understanding. Society as a whole stands to learn from these examples, appreciating the importance of listening to individual voices and adapting to changing circumstances with grace and wisdom. Further elaboration on the theme of pattern recognition reveals how men have honed this skill to navigate complex social landscapes. They pay attention to consistent behaviors and outcomes, determining the most effective courses of action for their well being. This awareness has guided them away from situations that previously led to dissatisfaction and toward those that promote harmony and purpose. The result is a more intentional way of living where decisions are informed by experience and observation rather than external influence. This approach resonates with many who seek similar clarity in their lives, demonstrating the universal value of, of self awareness and critical thinking. As the discussion progresses, the rhetorical pacing allows for full appreciation of these insights, ensuring that the message is received with the consideration it deserves. Economic and social factors continue to play a role in shaping these trends as individuals respond to the realities of their environment. Men have demonstrated remarkable adaptability by creating lifestyles that sustain them physically, mentally, and financially. They focus on essentials, eliminating waste, and concentrating on what brings true value to their existence. This minimalist philosophy serves them well in times of uncertainty, providing a solid foundation for whatever challenges may arise. Women, too, are adapting, finding ways to address their needs while respecting the choices made by others. The interplay of these adjustments creates a dynamic landscape where innovation and resilience come to the forefront. The intensity of the original motivations remains, but is channeled through professional discourse that emphasizes understanding and progress. Building on these foundations, we can now examine the profound psychological transformations that take place for men who fully embrace this path of deliberate disengagement from unfulfilling societal roles, allowing them to reclaim aspects of their identity that had been overshadowed by years of external demands. Consider the story of Michael, a former mid level manager in a bustling urban firm who spent over a decade climbing the corporate ladder while simultaneously attempting to maintain a series of relationships that consistently left him feeling depleted rather than supported. Each day brought the same rhythm of early commutes, high pressure meetings, and evenings spent managing expectations that never seemed to align with mutual effort. Over time, he noticed patterns in these interactions where his contributions were assumed rather than appreciated, prompting a quiet reevaluation of where his energy was truly directed. When he finally decided to step away from the relentless pace, he began by simplifying his living space, removing items that no longer held meaning, and focusing instead on activities that reignited his sense of curiosity, such as learning to play the guitar and exploring local hiking trails that offered both physical challenge and mental respite. This transition was not immediate, but unfolded gradually as he experienced waves of initial uncertainty giving way to a steady increase in mental clarity and emotional stability that he had not known since his early adulthood. Friends who remained in similar professional environments often remarked on the visible change in his demeanor, noting a calm confidence that replaced the subtle tension he once carried. Michael found that by trusting his own observations about what brought genuine satisfaction, he cultivated a level of self esteem rooted in personal achievement rather than external approval, a shift that many men report as one of the most liberating outcomes of prioritizing their own well being. His days now flow with intention, beginning with morning routines that include meditation and physical training, followed by creative projects that allow him to express ideas freely without the fear of judgment or consequence. This rediscovery of inner purpose has not only enhanced his overall happiness, but also sharpened his ability to discern meaningful opportunities from those that would once again drain his resources, highlighting how such choices lead to sustained personal growth and a renewed appreciation for life's simpler rewards. As we continue to unpack these experiences, it becomes evident through additional accounts that the benefits extend far beyond individual cases, revealing broader patterns of resilience and adaptability among men who have made similar decisions. Take, for example, the narrative of David, a skilled tradesperson from a suburban community who had dedicated 15 years to a demanding field that required long hours and constant availability, yet offered little in return when it came to work life balance or recognition of his expertise. He observed how industry expectations often prioritize output over sustainability, pushing individuals toward burnout, while societal messages simultaneously suggested that stepping back equated to failure. After careful consideration, informed by years of accumulated insights, he transitioned to part time consulting on his own terms, which provided enough financial stability to support a lifestyle centered on family connections without the previous overload and community volunteering that aligned with his values of practical contribution. In his newfound routine, David dedicates time to mentoring younger individuals in his trade through informal workshops held in his garage workshop, where the focus remains on skill sharing rather than corporate hierarchies. This change brought about a remarkable improvement in his physical vitality as he incorporated regular outdoor activities and balanced nutrition free from the stress induced habits of his earlier career. Rhetorically, one might ask what internal shifts enable such a man to thrive where others might falter, and the answer lies in the deliberate cultivation of self awareness that allows him to set firm boundaries while remaining open to positive engagements on his terms. David's story illustrates how men who walk this path often report heightened levels of life satisfaction derived from aligning daily actions with intrinsic motivations rather than imposed obligations, fostering a sense of freedom that permeates every aspect of their existence. He now views his past experiences not as losses, but as valuable lessons that equipped him with the discernment needed to build a life of authentic fulfillment where peace and, and productivity coexist without conflict. Expanding this exploration further, we encounter the journey of young adults like Ethan, who entered adulthood amid rapid cultural changes and quickly recognized the disconnect between promised pathways to success and the realities they encountered in education and early career attempts. Having completed a degree in a field that once seemed promising, he faced entry level positions that demanded extensive hours for modest compensation, while social environments emphasized competition over collaboration. Observing these dynamics alongside patterns in personal interactions that frequently felt transactional, he chose to pivot toward self directed learning through online resources and hands on projects that built practical skills in areas such as digital content creation and sustainable gardening. This decision allowed him to generate income on flexible terms while dedicating significant portions of his time to physical fitness regimens and reflective practices that strengthen both body and mind. Ethan's transformation included a noticeable decrease in anxiety levels as he removed himself from environments that reinforced feelings of inadequacy, replacing them with routines that celebrated incremental progress and personal mastery. Through storytelling, we see how his evenings now involve documenting his progress in a personal journal, which serves as both a record of growth and a source of motivation, reinforcing the value of patience and consistency. Such accounts demonstrate that for many younger men, this choice represents not avoidance, but a strategic investment in long term well being, where they develop emotional intelligence and practical independence that traditional routes often overlook. The rhetorical pacing of these developments builds as each man shares how embracing solitude has unlocked creativity and problem solving abilities that were previously stifled by constant external noise, leading to lives marked by quiet determination and profound contentment. These individual narratives gain even greater depth when viewed alongside the psychological frameworks that explain the sustained motivation behind such lifestyle shifts, emphasizing the role of intrinsic rewards over extrinsic pressures. Men who have undertaken this path frequently describe a process of cognitive reframing where past challenges are reinterpreted as catalysts for growth rather than just sources of ongoing resentment. This mental adjustment creates space for enhanced focus and creativity, allowing them to pursue endeavors that align closely with their natural inclinations, whether that involves technological innovation, artistic expression, or community oriented initiatives conducted at their own pace. One can picture the experience of Robert, a retired educator who, after decades in the public system, chose to disengage from supplementary consulting work that had become more burdensome than beneficial. In his post transition life, he immersed himself in historical research and writing projects that brought intellectual stimulation without the administrative overhead of institutional settings. Robert's days are structured around thoughtful reading sessions, morning walks that clear his mind, and collaborative discussions with like minded peers through virtual platforms that emphasize knowledge exchange rather than debate. This setup has led to measurable improvements in his cognitive sharpness and overall sense of agency, as he notes in conversations with acquaintances how the absence of unnecessary stressors has allowed his natural curiosity to flourish. The intensity of his commitment to this balanced existence mirrors that of countless others who have discovered that true empowerment comes from within when external validations are set aside in favor of self defined success metrics. Through such examples, the pattern emerges clearly that these psychological benefits compound over time, creating individuals who are not only more content, but also more capable of contributing positively when they choose to engage on selective terms. Shifting our focus to the broader economic ripple effects that arise from these collective choices, we observe how industries once reliant on steady male participation are adapting in noticeable ways as workforce dynamics evolve. Sectors such as construction logistics and technical services report ongoing adjustments as men opt for independent contracting or entrepreneurial ventures that offer greater control over their schedules and outcomes. This movement influences consumer spending patterns with increased emphasis on personal investments in tools, equipment, and experiences that enhance self sufficiency rather than status symbols tied to traditional success markers. Businesses, in turn, respond by innovating flexible work models and skill development programs designed to attract talent on terms that respect individual autonomy, highlighting a market driven recognition of changing priorities. Rhetorically, we might consider what this means for innovation and productivity in the coming years, and the evidence suggests that men operating from positions of personal stability often channel their energies into creative problem solving that benefits niche markets and local economies. For instance, small scale manufacturing operations run by individuals who have stepped back from larger corporate structures are seeing growth through specialized products that cater to practical needs, emphasizing quality and durability over mass production. These developments underscore a shift toward sustainable economic models where personal fulfillment and professional output align more closely, reducing the burnout cycles that previously affected entire fields. The storytelling here reveals how one man's decision to prioritize his well being can cascade into opportunities for others as networks of independent operators form around shared values of efficiency and integrity. Further illustrating these economic dimensions, we can delve into the impact on housing and lifestyle markets, where men embracing minimalist approaches influence demand for smaller, more efficient living spaces and multifunctional properties that support self directed activities. Real estate trends show rising interest in rural or semi rural properties that allow for gardening workshops or home based studios, reflecting a preference for environments that foster independence and tranquility. This change prompts developers to reconsider designs, incorporating features like dedicated workspaces and outdoor areas that align with these emerging lifestyles. Meanwhile, the entertainment and leisure industries adapt as men allocate resources toward hobbies and experiences that provide lasting value, such as equipment for outdoor pursuits or subscriptions to educational platforms. The rhetorical flow of these market responses builds momentum as companies recognize the potential in catering to discerning consumers who value substance over superficial appeals. One might envision a future where economic growth is driven more by innovation born from personal passion than from obligatory participation, leading to more resilient systems overall. Men in these scenarios are not withdrawing from contribution, but redirecting it toward avenues that yield greater personal and communal returns, demonstrating a thoughtful recalibration rather than abandonment. Turning to the realm of modern interpersonal dynamics, we see how men who have established clear boundaries experience shifts in their social interactions that prioritize quality and reciprocity over quantity and expectation. In dating contexts, for example, individuals report engaging only when mutual interest is evident and aligned with their current life priorities, avoiding situations that previously led to imbalance. This selective approach fosters healthier exchanges where communication is direct and intentions are transparent, creating space for connections that enhance rather than complicate their well being. Stories from men like Marcus, a freelance consultant, highlight how he now approaches potential relationships with a foundation of self assurance built from years of focused personal development. He shares experiences of conversations that flow naturally when both parties bring equal effort, contrasting with earlier encounters that felt one sided. This evolution in dynamics encourages a cultural move toward greater authenticity, where individuals honor their own needs while respecting those of others. The intensity of these personal standards maintains a professional clarity that benefits all involved by reducing misunderstandings and promoting genuine compatibility. As more men adopt this mindset, the broader social landscape adjusts, reflecting a collective learning process grounded in observable realities and shared experiences. Community aspects among men who have chosen this path also warrant deeper consideration as informal networks emerge that provide support, encouragement, and practical advice without the pressures of traditional social structures. Online forums and local meetups focused on skill sharing hobby groups and wellness discussions serve as gathering points where individuals exchange insights on everything from financial management to creative pursuits. These spaces emphasize positivity and mutual upliftment, allowing participants to build connections based on common goals rather than competition or drama. For example, a group of men in a Midwestern city organizes monthly gatherings centered on outdoor activities and project collaborations, which have led to collaborative business ideas and lasting friendships rooted in respect and shared purpose. Such communities illustrate how solitude does not equate to isolation, but instead creates the foundation for meaningful selective engagements that enrich life without overwhelming it. Rhetorically, this raises questions about the strength of human bonds formed through voluntary association, and the answers appear in the enduring support systems that arise naturally when individuals operate from positions of personal strength and clarity. The pacing of these community developments reveals a growing network of resilient individuals who contribute to society in ways that align with their values, fostering environments of encouragement and practical wisdom. Examining media influences on these trends, we note how various platforms portray narratives of masculinity and independence in ways that both reflect and shape public perceptions. Documentaries and articles exploring self reliance and personal mastery often highlight the successes of men who have redefined their paths, providing inspirational examples that resonate with those seeking similar changes. These stories counterbalance more conventional depictions by emphasizing the depth of thought and determination involved in such choices, presenting them as valid and empowering responses to contemporary challenges. Men who consume this content frequently describe it as affirming their own observations, reinforcing the value of critical thinking and pattern recognition in navigating complex social environments. One can trace the evolution of these media representations as they gain traction, mirroring the real world shifts occurring among everyday individuals. This interplay between media and lived experience creates a feedback loop that accelerates awareness and acceptance of diverse lifestyles, encouraging broader societal conversations about balance and fulfillment. The professional lens through which these portrayals are analyzed maintains focus on constructive outcomes, highlighting how informed choices lead to stronger individuals and, by extension, more stable communities. Women's perspectives, as shared across various platforms, add another layer to this ongoing narrative, revealing patterns of reflection and adaptation as they encounter the practical outcomes of these widespread shifts. Accounts from social media often detail experiences of navigating independence amid economic and social changes, prompting thoughtful considerations of collaboration and mutual support in new forms. These discussions, while varied, underscore a growing recognition of interconnected needs without diminishing the validity of personal autonomy on all sides. Men observing these exchanges remain committed to their established paths, drawing on past insights to inform their level of involvement, ensuring that any future interactions are grounded in equality and respect. The storytelling element here weaves together diverse voices, creating a multifaceted picture of societal evolution where each perspective contributes to a richer understanding of human relationships. Rhetorical questions emerge naturally, such as how best to foster environments of genuine reciprocity, and the responses unfold through continued observation and personal growth on the part of all involved. Philosophically, this movement invites reflection on the nature of freedom, purpose, and human potential as men rediscover the value of living according to internal compasses rather than external scripts. Concepts of self actualization come to the forefront as individuals explore what it means to lead lives of intention and integrity free from unnecessary entanglements. This philosophical underpinning provides depth to their choices, framing them as expressions of maturity and wisdom gained through experience. Men like Thomas, a former academic who now pursues independent research into environmental sustainability, embody this ideal by channeling their intellectual energies into projects that align with personal convictions and long term societal benefits. His work serves as both a personal passion and a quiet contribution to broader knowledge, demonstrating how purpose can flourish when unburdened by conflicting demands. Such philosophical alignments strengthen the resolve of those on this path, offering a framework for navigating future uncertainties with confidence and clarity. The rhetorical pacing builds as these ideas resonate across generations, encouraging a collective examination of what constitutes a meaningful existence in an ever changing world. Projecting forward rhetorically, we can envision potential scenarios where these trends continue to shape societal structures, prompting innovations in policy education and community planning that accommodate greater individual flexibility. Economic models may evolve to support hybrid participation where men contribute through specialized roles or entrepreneurial efforts that match their lifestyles, leading to more dynamic and responsive systems. Family and social frameworks might adapt by emphasizing voluntary cooperation and shared responsibilities, fostering environments where all parties feel valued and heard. These projections are not predictions, but thoughtful considerations based on current patterns, suggesting a future where balance is achieved through mutual understanding and respect for diverse paths. Men who have walked away continue to thrive in their chosen directions, serving as examples of resilience and adaptability that inspire others to evaluate their own circumstances with similar discernment. The intensity of their commitment to personal peace remains undiminished, while the professional articulation of these experiences promotes constructive dialogue across divides. To further enrich this examination, we can explore additional stories that highlight the diversity of backgrounds and outcomes within this movement. Consider the path of Samuel, a former healthcare worker who, after years of high stress shifts in a demanding environment, recognized the toll it took on his mental and physical health. His decision to transition into part time advisory roles, combined with a focus on wellness coaching, allowed him to maintain financial security while dedicating time to developing wellness programs for local groups. Samuel's journey included overcoming initial doubts through consistent self reflection and support from peers who had undergone similar changes, resulting in a life marked by greater energy and enthusiasm for daily activities. His story, alongside others, underscores the transformative power of aligning career elements with personal values, creating sustainable models of contribution that benefit both the individual and those around them. Through these extended narratives, the common themes of clarity, purpose, and fulfillment emerge, reinforcing the idea that such choices represent thoughtful responses to observable conditions rather than impulsive reactions. Additional layers reveal themselves in the ways men integrate technology and innovation into their self directed lives, using tools for learning, communication, and creation that enhance rather than complicate their routines. Many pursue certifications in emerging fields or develop applications that solve practical problems, drawing on their accumulated expertise to generate value on their own schedules. This integration of modern resources with traditional self reliance creates hybrid approaches that maximize efficiency and satisfaction. The community networks mentioned earlier often facilitate knowledge sharing in these areas, leading to collaborative projects that extend individual efforts into collective achievements. Rhetorically, one wonders about the untapped potential released when men operate from positions of autonomy, and the evidence from these accounts suggests significant advancements in personal and professional domains. The pacing here allows for full appreciation of how each small decision compounds into larger impacts, shaping not only individual destinies, but also the cultural landscape in subtle yet meaningful ways. As the exploration deepens, it becomes clear that the psychological, social, and economic dimensions of this phenomenon interconnect in ways that promote overall stability when viewed through a lens of respect and understanding. Men continue to find value in their self defined paths, experiencing the rewards of focused living that honors their strengths and aspirations. This ongoing story of transformation offers insights for anyone seeking greater alignment in their own lives, demonstrating the enduring human capacity for adaptation and growth amid changing circumstances. The narrative builds with each new account and observation, contributing to a comprehensive picture of a society recalibrating toward more intentional and balanced ways of being, where personal peace serves as the foundation for broader harmony. Delving even deeper into the societal implications, we observe how these personal transformations among men contribute to a quiet reshaping of community structures and local economies in ways that emphasize sustainability and mutual respect over outdated expectations. Picture the experience of Alexander, a former logistics coordinator from a coastal town who, after years of navigating unpredictable schedules and mounting responsibilities, recognized the need for a fundamental change in how he allocated his time and energy. He transitioned into operating a small online service that assisted local businesses with inventory management, allowing him to work from a home setup designed around his preferences for natural light and minimal distractions. This adjustment opened up hours each week for volunteering at community gardens, where he shares practical knowledge on efficient growing techniques, fostering connections with neighbors who value his steady, reliable presence. Alexander notes in quiet reflections how his sleep patterns improved dramatically as stress levels dropped, leading to clearer thinking and a more even temperament that benefits every interaction. His story reflects a broader trend where men discover that by prioritizing internal balance, they become more effective contributors in selective ways that feel authentic and rewarding rather than obligatory. Rhetorically, one might wonder whether such shifts signal a decline or an evolution in community vitality, and the evidence points toward the latter as these individuals bring fresh perspectives and consistent effort to shared spaces without the burnout that once limited their engagement. Continuing this line of exploration, we encounter the account of Jonathan, a young entrepreneur from a mid sized city who built a niche consulting practice focused on sustainable technology after stepping away from a high intensity corporate role that demanded constant availability. His days now include structured blocks for strategic planning, creative brainstorming, and physical activities like cycling through scenic routes that recharge both body and mind. Jonathan has developed partnerships with small firms seeking innovative solutions, which not only provides steady income, but also allows him to mentor aspiring professionals through workshops that emphasize ethical practices and long term vision. This selective involvement has led to noticeable gains in his overall health, including lower blood pressure and increased stamina as he incorporates balanced nutrition and recovery practices tailored to his lifestyle. Through his experiences, we see how men who embrace what these paths often report enhanced cognitive function and emotional regulation, enabling them to approach challenges with patience and creativity rather than reactivity. The rhetorical pacing here builds as each choice reinforces the next, creating a cycle of, of positive reinforcement that extends outward, influencing family members, friends, and even casual acquaintances who observe the tangible results of living with intention and self respect. Further expanding on these health dimensions, we can examine how the adoption of simpler, more focused routines leads to measurable improvements in physical and mental well being that compound over months and years. Men like Victor, a retired technician who once dealt with chronic fatigue from demanding shifts, now dedicates time to restorative practices such as yoga and guided breathing exercises, combined with strength training that builds resilience without overexertion. He documents his progress through a personal log, noting how consistent rest and purposeful activity have eliminated previous aches and improved his mood stability, making everyday tasks feel lighter and more enjoyable. Victor engages with local wellness groups where he exchanges tips on maintaining vitality through natural means, which strengthens social ties based on shared goals rather than superficial obligations. These accounts highlight a pattern where self directed living fosters greater longevity and quality of life as individuals learn to listen to their bodies and respond with care rather than pushing through exhaustion. Rhetorically, this invites consideration of how widespread adoption of such habits could alleviate broader public health strains by reducing reliance on reactive medical interventions and promoting proactive self management that benefits entire populations over time. As these individual journeys unfold, they intersect with cultural reflections on the value of independence and the rediscovery of personal agency in an era of rapid change. Consider the path of Harrison, an artist from a rural area who left behind a series of unfulfilling gallery contracts to pursue independent commissions and teaching sessions that align with his creative vision. His studio now serves as both workspace and sanctuary, where natural materials and ample space inspire pieces that capture themes of resilience and quiet strength. Harrison finds that this autonomy has unlocked a flow state in his work, leading to higher quality output and deeper satisfaction as clients respond positively to the authenticity evident in every creation. He occasionally hosts open studio events that draw diverse attendees interested in learning techniques, fostering an environment of learning and appreciation without the pressures of commercial deadlines. Such narratives demonstrate how men who prioritize their inner compass often contribute uniquely to cultural landscapes enriching society through original expressions that might otherwise remain suppressed under conventional demands. The intensity of their dedication to craft and self expression maintains a professional clarity that elevates the conversation around creativity and fulfillment in modern times. Shifting focus to educational impacts, we see how these lifestyle choices influence younger generations, observing the examples set by fathers, uncles, and mentors who model balanced living. Young people like Caleb, inspired by an older relative who stepped back from corporate life to pursue vocational training in renewable energy, now explore similar paths through apprenticeships that combine hands on learning with flexible schedules. Caleb reports feeling empowered by the freedom to experiment with different skills without the fear of immediate failure or external judgment, which has accelerated his technical proficiency and problem solving abilities. This intergenerational transfer of wisdom creates a ripple effect where values of self reliance and thoughtful decision making become embedded in family and community dialogues, encouraging youth to evaluate their own futures with discernment and optimism. Rhetorically, one asks what kind of legacy emerges when role models emphasize personal peace over relentless pursuit. And the answer appears in the growing cohort of confident, capable individuals who approach adulthood with clear priorities and realistic expectations. Policy reflections naturally arise as these trends prompt thoughtful discussions among leaders about supporting workforce flexibility and individual choice without imposing one size fits all solutions. Initiatives that encourage skill development programs tailored to self employed or part time models gain traction, recognizing that men who operate independently often drive innovation in underserved areas, such as local manufacturing or digital services. Harrison's earlier example extends here as his teaching sessions influence local curriculum adjustments that incorporate practical life skills alongside traditional academics, preparing students for diverse pathways. These adaptations reflect a maturing societal understanding that values diverse contributions and respects the autonomy of citizens to define success on their terms. The rhetorical flow builds as policymakers observe the positive outcomes of reduced stress and increased engagement in voluntary sectors, leading to more effective resource allocation and community resilience. Looking toward global perspectives within Western contexts, we note how similar movements appear in various regions, adapting to local economic and cultural nuances while sharing core themes of self preservation and redefined priorities. In European settings, for instance, men in tech hubs explore remote work arrangements that allow relocation to quieter areas where they cultivate hobbies like woodworking or beekeeping, contributing to local crafts economies. One such individual named Theodore relocated from a busy capital to a smaller town, establishing a workshop that produces custom furniture using sustainable materials, which not only sustains him financially, but also connects him with a tight knit group of artisans who exchange techniques and support. Theodore's transition included a focus on mental health practices that improved his focus and creativity, resulting in higher demand for his work as clients appreciate the quality born from unhurried effort. These cross regional stories underscore the universality of the desire for balance, highlighting how observable realities guide men toward paths that honor their well being while enriching surrounding communities through thoughtful participation. Health benefits continue to reveal themselves in deeper ways as men report enhanced immune function and reduced incidence of stress related conditions after adopting consistent routines centered on rest activity and nutrition. For example, Patrick, a former sales professional who now manages a small e commerce venture dedicated to outdoor gear, describes how incorporating daily nature walks and balanced meals transformed his energy levels, allowing him to handle business operations with efficiency and enthusiasm. Patrick shares his routine through occasional blog posts that resonate with others seeking similar changes, fostering a network of encouragement that extends beyond local boundaries. This collective sharing of practical strategies amplifies the movement, demonstrating how personal victories contribute to a larger cultural shift toward wellness as a foundational element of success. Rhetorically, we consider the long term societal savings when individuals take ownership of their health, and the projections suggest significant reductions in healthcare burdens alongside increases in productive, engaged citizens who live with vitality and purpose. Cultural reflections deepen when examining how artistic and literary expressions capture the essence of this transformation, portraying characters who navigate change with resilience and insight. Writers and filmmakers draw from real life accounts to craft stories that resonate with audiences, exploring themes of rediscovery and quiet strength without sensationalism. These works provide mirrors for men on similar paths, validating their experiences and inspiring continued growth, while inviting broader audiences to reflect on their own roles in societal dynamics. One filmmaker named Gregory produced a series of short documentaries featuring men who have built fulfilling lives through deliberate choices, which have sparked conversations in film festivals and online platforms about the evolving nature of contribution and fulfillment. Gregory's work maintains a professional tone that highlights observable benefits, emphasizing empowerment through choice rather than conflict. The pacing of these cultural outputs mirrors the gradual unfolding of real world changes, allowing viewers to absorb the depth of personal narratives and their implications for collective progress. Future visions emerge as we project how these trends might influence technological advancements and environmental stewardship when men channel their energies into innovative projects aligned with personal values. Imagine Liam, an engineer who left a large firm to develop open source tools for energy efficiency, now collaborating with community groups to implement solutions that reduce household costs and environmental impact. Liam's efforts have led to pilot programs in several neighborhoods where participants report greater satisfaction with their living environments and a sense of shared accomplishment. This forward looking approach illustrates how self directed men often pioneer solutions that address practical needs, fostering sustainability on both personal and communal levels. Rhetorically, this prompts consideration of the untapped potential when large numbers of capable individuals operate from positions of clarity and purpose, suggesting a future where innovation stems from intrinsic motivation rather than external coercion. As the narrative approaches its culmination, we reflect on the profound ways in which these choices foster environments of genuine respect and understanding across different life stages. Men who have walked this path serve as beacons of possibility, demonstrating that fulfillment arises from alignment with one's authentic self rather than conformity to shifting expectations. Their stories weave together into a tapestry of human potential realized through patience, observation, and courageous decision making. Women and families observing these developments often find inspiration in the stability and positivity that emerges, encouraging their own adaptations toward balanced interactions that honor individual strengths. The intensity of commitment to personal peace remains steadfast, yet expressed through professional discourse that promotes growth and harmony for all involved. What did you think about what was discussed here today? Do you agree with the perspectives shared? And if so, why or why not? Please leave a comment on the video sharing your thoughts, as your input helps shape future conversations and brings valuable insights into the dialogue. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.